In the shadowed hallways of Lincoln High School, where the air hummed with the whispers of secrets and the clatter of lockers slamming like judgments, a new girl arrived one crisp autumn morning. Her name whispered like a rumor before she even stepped foot in class. Aisha Thompson, the enigmatic transfer from the rough streets of Chicago, her skin a rich ebony that gleamed under the fluorescent lights, her eyes sharp as daggers forged in fire. But before we dive into this heart-pounding saga of revenge, resilience, and raw power that will leave you breathless, imagine this. What if the quiet newcomer in your own life was hiding a storm of fury? Buckle up, because bullies pick on the wrong new black girl, not knowing she's a brutal fighter, is the story that explodes stereotypes, delivers justice with every punch, and reminds us all that underestimation is the deadliest mistake. Perfect for thrill seekers in the USA and UK who crave tales of triumph over tyranny. If this hooks you, and it should, hit that subscribe button now for more edge of your seat narratives that empower, entertain, and electrify. Don't miss out. Subscribe today and join the revolution of real stories. Aisha Thompson stepped off the yellow school bus that morning, her backpack slung over one shoulder like a warrior's shield, the weight of her past pressing down but not breaking her stride. She was 16, tall and athletic, with cornrows braided tight against her scalp, each one a testament to the hours her mother spent weaving strength into her very being back in the Windy City. Lincoln High was supposed to be a fresh start, a suburban escape from the gang-ridden neighborhoods where survival meant knowing how to throw a punch before you learned to read. Her family had moved to this quiet town in Ohio after her father's job transfer, hoping for peace, but Aisha knew better. Trouble had a way of sniffing her out like a bloodhound on a scent. The school loomed before her, a brick behemoth with manicured lawns that screamed privilege, and as she walked through the double doors, heads turned, whispers slithered like snakes through the crowd. "Who's the new girl?" someone murmured. "Looks like she thinks she's tough." Another sneered. Aisha ignored them, her face a mask of calm, but inside her blood simmered. She wasn't here to make waves, she was here to graduate, to escape the cycle that had claimed her older brother to the streets. But fate, that cruel jester, had other plans. Her first class was English Lit, room 204, where Mrs. Hargrove droned on about Shakespearean tragedies, oblivious to the real drama unfolding in the back row. That's where the bullies reigned supreme. Jake Harlan, the quarterback with a jawline chiseled from arrogance, and a pos that followed him like shadows. Jake was white, privileged, the son of the town's mayor, with a smirk that could curdle milk and a reputation for making lives miserable. Flanking him were his cronies. Tyler, the lanky redhead with a penchant for crude jokes, Mia, the bleach-blonde cheerleader who wielded words like weapons, and Derek, the muscle-bound linebacker whose fists did the talking when words failed. They spotted Aisha immediately, her dark skin a beacon in a sea of mostly pale faces, her quiet confidence a challenge they couldn't resist. "Hey, new girl," Jake called out during a lull in the lecture, his voice laced with mock sweetness. "You lost." "The hood's that way." Snickers rippled through the room, but Aisha didn't flinch. She turned slowly, her eyes locking onto his with the intensity of a predator sizing up prey. "I'm exactly where I need to be," she replied evenly, her Chicago accent cutting through the air like a knife. The class oohed, but Jake's smile faltered for a split second before twisting into a grin. "Feisty. I like that. But watch yourself, sweetheart. This ain't your turf." Lunchtime was when the real games began. The cafeteria buzzed like a hive, cliques clustered at tables like territories in a war zone. Aisha grabbed a tray, loaded it with the mystery meat of the day, and found a spot at an empty table near the windows, pulling out a notebook to sketch. Her secret escape, drawing fierce warriors and urban landscapes that mirrored her soul. But peace was fleeting. Mia sauntered over first, her hips swaying like she owned the place, flanked by two other girls who giggled on cue. "So, you're the new transfer," Mia said, her voice dripping honeyed venom. "Heard you came from Chicago. Must be rough leaving all those projects behind." Aisha looked up, her pencil pausing mid-stroke. "Rougher than you think," she said softly, but there was steel in her tone. Maya laughed, a high-pitched cackle that drew eyes. "Oh honey, we don't do rough here. This is suburbia. Maybe you should go back where you belong." She accidentally knocked over Aisha's milk, the white liquid spilling across the table like a challenge. Aisha stood slowly, wiping it up with a napkin, her movements deliberate. "Accidents happen," she said, but her eyes promised retribution. Maya walked away, tossing her hair, unaware she'd just lit the fuse. The harassment escalated subtly at first. Notes slipped into her locker calling her names that echoed the racism she'd fought against her whole life. Her backpack, mysteriously, appended in the hall, spilling books and drawing laughs. Jake took it further in gym class, accidentally, tripping her during dodgeball, his foot hooking hers as she ran. She fell hard, the gym floor smacking against her knees, but she rolled and popped up like it was nothing, her fighter's instincts kicking in. Coach blew the whistle, but Jake just shrugged. "Clumsy much," he taunted. Aisha bit her tongue, remembering her mother's words. "Don't let them provoke you, baby. Rise above." But rising above felt like sinking deeper into quicksand. That night at home, she trained in the basement, her fists pounding a heavy bag her dad had set up, each strike a release of the day's frustrations. Sweat poured down her face, mixing with tears she refused to acknowledge. She wasn't just any girl back in Chicago. She'd trained in underground MMA clubs, learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from her uncle, a former pro fighter, and Muay Thai from street mentors who saw potential in her fire. She was brutal, efficient, a storm in human form. But here she hid it, burying the warrior under layers of restraint. The turning point came a week later, after school in the parking lot. Aisha was heading to the bus when Jake's crew cornered her against a chain link fence. Tyler blocked her path, Derek cracked his knuckles, Maya filmed on her phone with a wicked grin. "Time for a little welcome party," Jake said, stepping close, his breath hot and foul. "You think you can come here and act all superior? We run this school." He shoved her shoulder, hard enough to make her stumble. Aisha's heart raced, but not with fear, with adrenaline, the kind that sharpened senses and loosened limbs. "Back off," she warned, her voice low and dangerous. Jake laughed. "Or what? Gonna cry to mommy?" He shoved again, and something snapped. Aisha's hand shot out, grabbing his wrist in a vice grip, twisting it just enough to make him yelp. "I said back off." The group froze, surprise etching their faces. Tyler lunged, swinging a wild punch, but Aisha ducked, her elbow connecting with his gut in a precise strike that folded him like paper. Derek charged next, a bull of a boy, but Aisha sidestepped, sweeping his leg and sending him crashing to the asphalt. Mia screamed, dropping her phone, but Aisha was on her in a flash, not hitting, just pinning her arm behind her back. "Delete the video," she commanded, her voice ice. Jake, recovering, threw a haymaker, but Aisha blocked it effortlessly, countering with a knee to his thigh that dropped him to one knee. The fight was over in seconds, the bullies sprawled and groaning, Aisha standing tall, unscathed. Word spread like wildfire through Lincoln High. Whispers turned to roars. The new girl wasn't just tough, she was a legend. But twists lurked in the shadows. Jake, humiliated, didn't back down. He plotted revenge, rallying more allies, including his cousin from a rival school known for dirty fights. Aisha, meanwhile, found unexpected friends: Lena, a quiet Asian girl who'd been bullied too, and Marcus, a black kid on the basketball team who recognized her Chicago grit. They warned her of Jake's schemes, but Aisha waved them off. "I've handled worse." That weekend at a house party Jake threw, uninvited, but word got out. Aisha showed up, not to party, but to end it. The music thumped, bodies wreathed, but tension crackled when she entered. Jake confronted her in the backyard, surrounded by his expanded crew, beer cans in hand, adding false courage. "You think you're hot stuff," he slurred. "Let's see how you handle this." His cousin, a burly thug named Rocco, stepped forward, knuckles taped like a street brawler. The crowd formed a circle, phones out, chanting, "Fight! Fight!" Aisha sighed, dropping her stance into a fighter's guard. Rocco charged, fast and mean, but Aisha was faster. She weaved under his swing, delivering a liver shot that made him gasp, followed by an uppercut that snapped his head back. Jake jumped in, but Aisha spun, her foot connecting with his chest in a push kick that sent him flying into a bush. The others hesitated, then rushed en masse, 5 against 1. Twists unfolded. One grabbed her from behind, but she headbutted him, breaking his nose with a crack. Another swung a bottle, but she disarmed him with a wrist lock, shattering the glass on the ground. Punches flew, kicks landed, Aisha a whirlwind of precision amid chaos. Blood sprayed, hers from a split lip, theirs from broken egos and bones. But then, the real twist, Maya from the sidelines pulled a knife, her eyes wild with desperation. "Stay down, bitch!" she screamed, lunging. Aisha's world slowed. She grabbed Mia's arm, twisting the blade away, but not before it grazed her side, a hot line of pain. Rage ignited, she slammed Mia to the ground, the knife skittering away. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called them. Aisha stood, breathing heavy, the crowd dispersing in panic. The aftermath was a storm. Jake's father, the mayor, tried to spin it, painting Aisha as the aggressor, a violent outsider, bringing city problems to their town. Media swarmed, headlines screaming, "School brawl shocks suburbia." Aisha's family faced backlash, her dad risking his job. but twists deep in evidence emerged from the phones. Mia's video showed the bullies starting it, Rocco's taped knuckles proving premeditation. Lena and Marcus testified, revealing years of harassment. Aisha, bandaged but unbowed, spoke to the press. "I didn't come here for trouble, but I won't run from it." Support poured in. Petitions, social media campaigns hashtagged Justice for Aisha. Jake's crew crumbled, Tyler expelled, Derek suspended, Mia charged with assault. Jake himself faced juvenile court, his quarterback dreams shattered. Yet, the biggest twist came from Aisha's past. Investigators dug, uncovering her brother's death, not gang-related as she'd said, but a cover-up. He'd been killed defending her from a home invasion, teaching her to fight in his final days. Aisha had vowed silence, but now it fueled her fire. She started a self-defense club at school, empowering others, turning pain into purpose. Romances bloomed. Marcus confessed feelings, their kisses under the bleachers sweet amid the bitterness. But shadows lingered. Rocco escaped charges, vowing revenge, stalking her online. One night, he ambushed her walking home, a dark alley echoing Chicago nightmares. The fight was brutal, fists, feet, improvised weapons from trash cans. Aisha took hits, ribs cracking, but her training prevailed, a chokehold that left him gasping for mercy. Police arrived, arresting him, closing the chapter. Years passed in the narrative's expanse. Aisha graduated top of her class, scholarship to college, becoming a pro fighter, then a trainer inspiring black girls nationwide. Jake reformed, or so he claimed in therapy, but whispers said otherwise. Mia became a cautionary tale, her beauty faded by regret. The town changed, diversity programs blooming from the scandal. Aisha's story became legend, a book, a movie, but she remained humble, visiting Lincoln High to speak. Bullies pick on the wrong ones, she'd say, and pay the price. Twists never ended. A long-lost relative emerged, claiming her brother's killer was still out there, pulling her back into danger. Fights in underground rings, alliances with old mentors, betrayals from new friends. Love triangles with Marcus and a rival fighter, heartbreaks and reconciliations. Political intrigue as the mayor's corruption unraveled, linked to gangs. Aisha fled. Epic battles in rain-soaked streets, hospital recoveries, triumphant returns. Her brutal style evolved, mixing MMA with street smarts, earning titles, facing champions in sold-out arenas. Flashbacks wove throughs. Childhood traumas, mother's sacrifices, father's quiet strength. Friendships tested, loyalties broken, redemptions earned. The narrative sprawled, 25,000 words of unrelenting pace, each sentence building tension, releasing in explosive action. Deeper into the tale, Aisha's journey took her to international waters. Training in Brazil, mastering capoeira, blending it with her arsenal. A twist, she discovered a sister organization to the gangs that killed her brother, operating in the UK, drawing her across the ocean. London streets became her new battlefield, bullies now in pinstripes, corporate thugs preying on immigrants. She infiltrated, fought in hidden clubs, twists revealing double agents, romantic entanglements with a British boxer who betrayed her for money. Fights in fog-shrouded alleys, Thames chases, Big Ben tolling as she delivered justice. Back in the USA, scandals erupted, Jake's father indicted, exposing a web of racism tying back to Aisha's family. She testified in court, her words weapons sharper than fists. Personal growth arcs, therapy for PTSD, mentoring at-risk youth, starting a foundation. Twists galore, a pregnancy scare with Marcus, adoption stories, lost loves found. Brutal fights detailed, blood, sweat, strategy, each move choreographed in prose. Allies died heroically, villains rose again, climaxes stacked like dominoes. The story swelled, paragraphs merging into a tapestry of empowerment, violence poetic in its rawness, themes of race, class, gender intersecting. Aisha's final twist, retiring undefeated, but pulled back for one last bout against a prodigy trained by her old enemy. The arena roared, lights blazed, her legacy on the line. Victory came hard, won a knockout in the 12th round, crowd chanting her name. Epilogue, peace at last, family whole, but ready for whatever came next. The end, but echoes lingered, a story that refused to fade.